when I was like telling people, I was like, oh, Ellery's going to be on the pod. They said 3 Emmy Ellery. And I said, yeah.
Wait, who said that?
Nobody.
Oh, damn it.
I remember there was a girl who I was dating her when my dad died, and broke up with her maybe 3 weeks after that. And here's the situation. I didn't do it in a bad way. But what I said to her was, because we were dating long distance, but we broke up in person. And I said, I right now do not want to be beholden to anyone. So like she was trying to check in, be like, hey, are you okay? Thinking of you, blah, blah, blah. And I said to her, I was like, you're not doing the wrong things. I don't want to answer those questions to anyone.
I just don't want to check in.
Yeah. I don't want that.
I had a boyfriend at the time when my dad died who, when I came back to LA, was like, you didn't call me enough while you were out there. And I was like, actually, I think we're breaking up.
Yeah. Oh, I actually meant to call you to say goodbye.
Yeah, literally. I was like, I was kind of busy.
Yeah. Ooh. Bye. Oh, by the way, I guess before we keep going, I should introduce the tea. So for those who are steeping at home with us, we have our steepers who steep at home.
Steeping at home.
Yeah, it's so fun. For those steeping at home, we are drinking I Can't Sleep, which is a pity party tea made by the wonderful Chase O'Donnell. Shout out, Chase.
Shout
we
out,
love
Chase.
you. If you are not familiar with Chase, go listen to her stand-up after you're done listening to Ellery's.
So Chase is truly one of my favorite stand-ups right now.
Well, I was going to say, they should listen to you first and then her.
Thank you.
And then me. Well, I guess I should be on that list too. Listen to my stuff first. Oh, that's great.
Did she formulate the blend?
She chose the blends. She
that.
got sent tons of samples and then figured out what she liked.
Tested?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I want to do that just so I can get all that tea.
I am trying to start a beverage company with my friend Maggie. It started as a joke and then we got investors and it got kind of serious.
I would say that immediately gets serious. Yeah.
So, but we're trying to formulate a hard like an alcohol company. You know how seltzer is very big right now?
Yes.
We're trying to formulate a high ABV canned cocktail.
How high?
Like as high as legally allowed.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like a 25% of the lettuce.
Wow. I will tell you this. I feel like I might be in your wheelhouse. I'm not a big drinker anymore. Not that I was like a huge drinker at any point, but like I just like don't drink a ton these days. However, I have some very high ABV beers in my fridge that like I'll take out every now and again because I would prefer to drink like one really high quality, interesting drink.
That's exactly what we're going for.
I don't want to pound
rather than like
Bud
5.
Lights.
Exactly. Our sort of like our in is sort of like something that makes you buzzed before you get bloated.
I mean, that's a great line. You wrote that, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
I mean, I've been a copywriter in many of my past lives.
So how many limes? 7, 8?
I just mean I've been a copywriter maybe 12 times.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I was just thinking. I was like, maybe she's spiritual.
But before AI came. No, I think in my past lives I was like a dock worker.
Well, okay. I'm gonna chase down the dock worker thing in a second because now you're making me think of like The Wire season 2.
No, that's I was thinking more like Manchester by the Sea.
So sad.
I mean, that's sort of where I'm from.
I know, but so sad, that movie. Michelle Williams' performance, my God.
She's a killer.
Powerhouse.
Yeah.
There are some actors and actresses where like if I'm going into the movie, if it's a drama, I'm like, I know they're going to take me from the knees. They're just going to take me out.
Really?
And like Michelle Williams is one of them who will just take me out.
She fades to the background for me a little bit. I'll be honest. Like I always forget that she exists. And then I see a movie with her and I'm like, she's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
So my favorite actress of all time is Allison Janney.
Love. I totally agree with that. She is a chameleon too.
But she will also like her drama is amazing.
I don't know
and
that
her
I've
comedy
ever seen any of her drama. I really enjoy her as a comedy actress.
Have you seen The Way, Way Back?
No, should I?
It's probably it's in my top 10 or 5. This just came up in the last episode, I think, right?
Are you a big movie guy?
I love movies.
I'm a big TV person.
What have you watched recently that you really liked?
Well, right now I'm in a big reality TV space.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to relate at all.
No, but that's okay. But I love cartoons. King of the Hill is my favorite show ever.
Oh, okay.
It reminds me of my hometown. So anytime I'm really homesick, I watch King of the Hill. In recent years, I loved Dairy Girls. I thought that was great. I'm very excited for the
it's
new
on my
one
list.
from her.
I haven't seen it.
She's amazing, so good. And then I really loved How To with John Wilson.
Okay, so I wanted to watch that, but I told somebody I don't do, and please disabuse me of my ignorance if I'm wrong. I don't do cringe style comedy.
No, not cringe at all.
Okay.
I
don't do Nathan For You.
No, I don't care for Nathan For You.
Yeah.
I don't care for Nathan For You, but I thought How To with John Wilson was very kind and lovely. Yeah, it's very hopeful and like optimistic and sort of sweet, which is not what you would expect. But I was really blown away.
I don't know that the trailer gave me all of that.
Oh, see, I didn't watch the trailer.
I watched it.
Interesting. No, you should watch the first. It's like a love letter to life through the lens of it's this guy who is clearly like obsessive compulsive or something, and he tapes everything. He has filmed basically every day of his whole life. So he has this incredible archive of footage.
Okay.
And they're stitching stories together based on that. It's almost documentary. It is documentary style. And so they go through the footage and they find storylines, and then they sort of like expand on the storylines. So there's one where they go to like a scaffolding convention, and there's one where they find the CEO of Bang Energy, and then there's one where they learn about what's cut off when you're circumcised.
Your foreskin.
Yeah, the foreskin regrowing.
By the way, I feel like that was anti-Semitic that you asked me.
Well, I'm asking the room.
Okay. My fiance's name is Jess, and somebody just will look at me and be like, "You are being very loud." And I was like, "This is my voice. This is my normal volume." And what I just did to you earlier is I'll always say to her, if she says that, I'll be like, "Feels decently anti-Semitic to say that." Like, I will always bring it right back to that. Only reason to be Jewish, really.
That's the only reason?
To just tell people that they're being anti-Semitic. Yeah, I think so.
I mean, the food, too. There's some good food. There's some good food.
I was going to say, and maybe I'm wrong and I'm open to that, but there's no fathomable way I can imagine you're Jewish.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
No fathomable way?
Yeah. I couldn't fathom it.
Okay, interesting.
What? Why?
I don't know. I have gotten it before.
No, you have not.
Yeah, a good handful of times, actually.
Is it just because you were with Amy and you two were sitting next to each other?
I don't know why. But also, I'm from New York, and so I grew up around a lot of Jewish kids.
I figure.
So maybe just
a lot of bat
people
mitzvahs.
thought that, yeah, lots and lots of bat mitzvahs.
Mm.
Yeah, when I moved to LA and I met people who had been like, "Oh, I only went to one bat mitzvah growing up," I was like, "Wait, really?
Only one?
Only one?"
Yeah. My bar mitzvah was Wait,
what was the theme?
No theme.
No theme.
No theme because we didn't have a ton of money.
That's
so my
very
parents
chic
were
of
like,
you.
"We can't throw a party. We're going to do a luncheon." And I've got to tell you, like, the fastest way to not get social credibility at age 12 is to hand out finger foods in your backyard.
Oh my God, so true. Yeah, so true.
I wish I had a theme. I don't know what the theme would have been.
Probably
the New York Knicks, maybe.
That's a great theme. I'm a Mets fan.
You're a Mets fan.
I am a Mets fan.
I'm not a baseball guy, but I respect it.
I just sort of like to have something to complain about.
That's why I'm a Knicks fan.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's nice to have a little chip on your shoulder about something, and then I'm also a Dodgers fan, so I have a.
Are they? This is everyone who likes baseball who's listening to this is going to hate me. Are they enemies?
No, they're not enemies at all. The Mets are like not even competitive.
Yeah, the Knicks haven't won since '73.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I'm a Mets fan for the cred to feel like I'm supporting
both blue and orange.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And then when rubber meets the road, I'm a Dodgers fan because I like they'll win.
Do you go a lot
to Dodgers games?
Yeah,
I did, but the tickets are going to be crazy expensive this year, so I will probably not be able to afford.
Because of Ohtani.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I probably won't be able to go as much this year.
Interesting. I haven't been to a baseball game in.
I went to a preseason game this week, and I saw him play, and it was
revelatory.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, he's supposed to be like the best, right?
I've heard. He called me to be like, "Should I take this deal?" And I was like, "Yes."
And you're like, "It doesn't sound like that much money."
I was like, honestly, go to Anaheim. That's where
Oh my
everybody wants to be. Do you ever go to basketball games?
Yeah, I like basketball games.
Who's your team?
I'm a Lakers fan, obviously.
So you're disrespecting me in my own house.
Well, it's just so easy and fun to be a Lakers fan.
I guess I could see that.
Do you know what I mean? But I'm a Buffalo Bills fan when it comes to football.
When did you get to LA? Because you grew up in New York.
I grew up in LA. I mean, I grew up in New York, and then I moved to Boston to go to college.
Right.
And then I went to
cold,
very cold, but not as cold as where I was from.
Sure.
And then I moved to LA in 2016. September, August.
If someone said to you, like, "Are you a New Yorker or an Angelino?" where are you at with that?
That's a really interesting question. I've never been asked that before.
We ask hard-hitting questions here.
That
on
is a
Steve.
really hard-hitting
Yeah,
question. I don't know. I've lived here for 7 years. I do consider when I say like, oh, I'm going to go home, I mean LA.
So do I. I hate when someone says, where are you from? And I always go, do you mean where did I grow up or where do I live?
If I'm traveling and somebody's
say
like,
New
where are
York?
you from? Well, no, I'll be like, I live in LA now, but I'm from New York.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I get very specific. Do you have a lot of New Yorker pride? I do.
I have very complicated feelings, I guess, about New York because it's not like I don't have like that New York City pride. Also, the town I'm from, I grew up in a town with 1,600 people in it.
Sure.
Very small. You go back, it's mostly like empty buildings and like nature has taken back over. So a lot of the buildings are condemned and the roofs are down and there's trees and stuff or like vines. So it's
interesting.
very economically depressed.
I mean, well, I wish you hadn't said that sentence right after I said interesting.
No, but it is interesting, and I feel like it is interesting. But it's also I mean, I am proud of it, but it's interesting. Do you know what I mean?
No, I agree with that. I wonder. This is how sad I am. You're gonna laugh. My immediate thought when you said that, I was like, oh, it'd be great to film a movie there.
I think that all the time, or that maybe I'll take a year and I'll go back and I'll live there and I'll write a book or something. But it's so sad and it's so hard to think about that like. It's almost overwhelming.
Can you get an oat milk latte there?
No, there's no coffee shop where I grew up.
What happened?
There's no coffee shop in the town I grew up.
I misheard you.
No, that's real. I went back every year I spend Christmas with my grandma at her house.
Yeah, lovely.
And
I've always heard great things about her.
I mean, she's amazing.
Top-notch gal. What's her name, by the way?
Becky. Becky Smith. She still works. She cuts hair.
I'm sorry. She still works?
She still works.
How old is she?
85. She cuts hair.
Becky, you sly fox.
I know. I wouldn't say that about her.
Sorry, I meant it in a very complimentary way.
I think it's good for her though. There's a lot of data that suggests that people live the longest when they have something called ADL, activities of daily life.
Oh.
Things that you need to show up for.
Oh, I thought it was the Anti-Defamation League.
I mean, they co-opted it.
Yeah, for sure. My mother is 74, and sometimes what she'll say, and I don't think it's a bad thing, but sometimes she'll be like, "Oh, I don't even know what day it is," and I'm like,
yeah, I think it's important that you have something to do. Also, my grandma is at a point where everybody she knew growing up is dead.
Yeah,
all of her friends are dead. She's the last one of her siblings left alive. Her husband and my father, her son, died in the same year, so she's had a real go of it. But she's still really funny. has great stories. Is very on it. Yeah. And we write letters back and forth and we call. But anyway, I go, can we write letters?
I am loving Grandma Becky more and more.
She's really big in my life, actually. It's very,
I'm not even being sarcastic.
No,
I genuinely think she sounds great.
Which is another reason I would go and I would want to like live there for a year. But like I said, very economically depressed. There's no work. There's nothing to do. And it's like, don't you feel anytime you leave LA, that's when everybody wants to book you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Anytime. Let me tell you something. Every time I've gotten a role, I've been cast in something, I've gotten a big show that I wanted, anything like that, was when I was not supposed to be here.
Exactly.
I've had to cancel things.
Yes, or fly back early.
Very frustrating.
Very frustrating. And so I'm like, if I left for a year, would everybody just forget about me?
This is gonna be the darkest. Can we get dark for a split
Please.
second? So I lived in Chicago before this, and it is very competitive to try and get like picked up by Second City into their what I would consider a farm system.
You do improv?
I did improv and sketch and storytelling.
Wow.
And musical theater. Are you surprised? I didn't think so.
Not at all.
And here's the thing: don't know whether to be sad about that. But I got the call. I was so struck by the call that I didn't speak. She's like, "Hey, Josh, we'd love to bring you in and like have you be a part of this team." And I was like, bear in mind, not a FaceTime. And I'm just like, huh? And she goes,
she's hello?
Yeah. She's like, are you there? I was like, yeah. She's like, would you want to do that? I'm like, yep, that'd be great. And so it meant like I was, doing nonstop. I was like, I was writing or performing or workshopping, probably about 7 nights a week, and which was fine, and I liked it. But I will never forget. I went back to see my parents in Florida for Thanksgiving in November. In February, my sister goes, "I'm going to go back to see them again. Do you want to come?" I said, "I can't. Like I've got to be there 7 nights a week." She's like, really? I was like, I just can't do it. And of course, then my dad dies in May, and like I didn't see him
Yeah.
on that trip, and I was like, motherfucker.
But you can't do like the whole time that my dad was dying. I was like, oh, like I kind of want to move home, and he was like, don't do that.
Yeah.
He's like, you spent all your money to move out to LA. Like you're building your life out there. I mean, not in so many words, but he like sort of did discourage me from moving back. And then when he died, I was like, well, fuck.
Yeah, you're like, listen, you can't tell me what to do now.
Exactly. But now that's sort of why I'm like, should I move back for a year, like while my grandma's still alive, and like just hang out? But I think it would be like just steeping in my own depression for a few years.
Oh, I've done
for
that.
A few months.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I don't know if that's good for me.
It's not.
I don't know if that's good for me. I also am such like I have like a monkey brain. Like I'm wired like an animal where like it takes a lot of thoughtful effort to put myself in a good place, where like I'm like a evangelist about getting enough sleep. Like I eat really healthy. I try to go outside. Like I do a lot of stuff in my community. Like I really have to pay attention to like the combination of stuff that I let myself do. And it's like, if I even look at Instagram for too long, I become suicidal. Like I have to really dial in.
This is a stupid question. How are you getting 8 hours of sleep a night? You are a
What
comic
do you mean?
who's out late.
Here's the other thing is it does come at the expense of comedy. I don't really hang out after shows anymore. I
remember you had said like, I'll be there. And then I like sat and you never showed up. It was weird. Listen, it's fine. It's fine.
I know. I really
the listeners believe it.
And I do that a lot. And it's it's very rare that I do a show that's past 11. And if I do, I will always lie and be like, hey, I have another set. Can I go up first?
Can I tell you what someone just did the other day? And I fucking loved it. Okay. I'm not going to out who this was. I'll tell you off mic. Well, actually, fuck it. I don't think it's that bad to do.
Oh my God.
Okay. So do you know Chloe Radcliffe?
Love. Yes.
Okay.
Love her.
Right.
Such a fan.
So Chloe, the person running this show, and I love when people do this, started an Instagram group. Hey, here are the times.
Lineup.
Here's the parking, blah, 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 blah. Chloe hits it up. Hey, like I have to run to another spot. By the way, she said I have to duck to another spot. And I was like, first time duck has been used where it was meant, And she's like, I have to duck to another spot. Do you mind if I go early? And, the organizer was like, no problem. And I'm like, cool. Chloe goes.
You see her on Instagram 5 minutes after.
Even better. Chloe goes first. I'm like fifth or something. So I'm like, what? I'm just chilling. I have nowhere to go. I can't go anywhere at fifth, So Chloe comes back in and I was like, hey, like from what I heard, it sounded great. She was like, yeah. She goes, well, I got to go pick up my mom from LAX. And I was like,
now what's the truth?
Huh. She's like, yeah. And I was like, no, it's not worth it. And I was just like, didn't say anything.
But I'm also like, that's a good excuse too.
Phenomenal excuse. If I were running that show and she said that, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
Go do that. But like the fact that she was like, yeah, I have to duck to another spot, but instead was like, I'm picking up my mom from LAX. I was like, okay.
Okay. All right.
What a weird. Okay.
No, that's me. That's totally me. But they would be a lie both times.
I was going to say, given that you live in Hollywood, I don't think you're picking anyone up from LAX.
It's very rare.
If I were flying in, and we did this more often, would you pick me up from LAX?
No, you live in Venice. I'm like, well, actually because you live in Venice, but my boyfriend lives right next to the airport. So
he lives in Westchester?
Basically, he lives in Playa del Rey. He lives 15 minutes from the airport. So I always
he better pick you up anytime.
Well, sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't.
I wasn't going to say anything. What's his name? First name only. I don't need the last name.
His name is Drew.
Drew, here's the thing. It's 15 minutes.
It's 15 minutes away.
Is Ellory not worth it?
Thank you for saying that.
Of course.
And thank you for saying that.
I'm going to text Drew after this.
Please do.
I'm going to be like, Drew, do better. I'm kidding. We love you, Drew.
But because he lives so close to the airport, sometimes
you're in a long distance relationship. You know that, right?
Yeah, we are, but that's kind of what I like about it.
So that way you can kind of go about your day to day.
Yeah. And I'm also like, I have had a lot of tension in my other relationships because I didn't want to hang out every day of the week. I'm very much like, I need 3 days a week is kind of my max.
What are you going to do if you end up, I don't know if you want to get married or not, but like if you choose to get married, what are you going to do in that circumstance?
I don't know. I always figured I'd cross that bridge when I get there.
I think it's a reasonable bridge not to cross now.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It's never been on my goal list. And I'm like, I'll just start dealing with that when I need to.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not married yet.
How long have you lived with your fiance?
Can I tell you, I hate that word. You were going to say girlfriend and then you flipped it. But I don't even like the word fiance. I think it's terrible. But then when I say girlfriend, people
betrothed.
Go. Yeah.
Your wife to be.
We'll just say girlfriend. Or partner.
I mean, that's a partner.
Yeah.
I was supposed to say you're downgrading her.
I would never. She's a lovely, lovely gal. We moved in together by accident. We started dating long distance. and we both travel a lot, so we would just meet in random cities all over the place.
Oh, I love that.
It was great. We were in Denver around March 15th, maybe.
2020.
Correct. And we were supposed to go to Vail the next day to go skiing together. And I wake up at 4:30 a.m. and I just I wake her up and she's like, "What's up?" I was like, "I'm sure this COVID thing is like probably nothing, and it's like it's being overblown, but like I'm freaking out. I don't want to go skiing. Like I want to get out of here. Like I don't want to be in a city where I don't live. This is not good for me." And she was like, "Listen, we're a team. If you don't want to go, I'm not going to go." She's like, "What about this? They say, I know it's probably not going to happen, but they say we might have to quarantine for like 2 weeks." And I was like, "Yeah." And she goes, now this is funny because you know where we are now, but she goes,
the idea that it would be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I believed that. I mean, when it happened, I believed that.
I think we all believed it.
Yeah.
And she goes, "Why don't we do this? Let's fly back to Houston. Let's grab my 2 cats and we'll bring them to LA and we'll just have a cute like 2-week vacation together."
Okay.
And I said, "That's amazing."
And then it took 5 months.
No, she never left. I mean, like, because the pandemic lasted so long, we just, at that point, we were living together. And so we were just like, cool, I guess we moved in without really knowing
Whoa.
it. Yeah.
That's bananas.
It is.
That's bananas.
But to relate back to your story for a minute, I liked being in that long distance relationship because I was like, cool, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. But like, I love you and let's link up on the phone at night and like catch up and it's all good. The pandemic made us unhealthily codependent. So like, yeah, it's a little weird. It's a little weird to like be in that because I used to be like you where I was like, yeah, like I want to do my own thing. Now, like if she so much as goes to the grocery store, I'll like text her be like, "Hey, where'd you go?" She's like, "Picking up groceries." I'm like, "Cool, I'm just here by myself."
It's
a problem.
It is like sometimes it does feel very far away and the drive feels long.
Yeah.
But it also feels like because he works in Beverly Hills, so he has my place to crash, and
it's a living situation that like he lives here and works there, and then you live there, and it's all very confusing.
It's all very confusing. He also doesn't have a car.
Wow. How would he pick you up from the airport then?
Well, he'll borrow somebody's car, or he'll bring my car, or whatever. And people are always.
How does he
like,
get to work?
He bikes, or he rides the bus. Imagine that.
I can't. Okay.
I mean, LA has a very functional metro if you know how to use it.
Being someone who's been exposed to New York and Chicago, I find LA's public transportation problematic.
Sure. But it's what we have. And it is
True.
It is deeply usable.
I believe that.
Yeah.
That reminds me that I think, and I may be wrong, but I don't think that I am, from your social media, you seem very heavily involved in the ideas of wanting to improve the city that we live in.
Yeah, I'm fairly locally activated. I'd say that.
Yeah, because I think like you and I both align pretty closely on the need for many, many more resources and housing for the unhoused community, and a lot more attention on their mental health and not just on their physical well-being, and giving them those resources so they can have that, because it's a right, not a privilege, to be able to get mental health services. I'm just like remembering now that you're talking about the public transit that I think you post fairly often in these categories.
A little bit. I'd say I can kind of pop off about them.
Okay.
I don't know that I should use my social media that way all the time, but
that wasn't me saying that you do.
No, but I do. I have a lot of spicy takes about housing. I run a soup kitchen in Koreatown, and I've done that for
run one?
Yeah, I've done that for the last four years.
What do you mean by did you you started it?
I did start it. Yeah, but it's part of a larger program. So it's like they have like 4 days a week. I'm just one of the days.
Okay.
And now I work there a bunch, and I volunteer a lot of days of the week, and but I do Tuesdays, and it's frankly a lot of comedians and industry people, and then regular people too. Industry people who come and volunteer.
Oh, who volunteer? I thought you meant who are coming to the soup kitchen for the food.
But we do eat there. I eat there every week. We make good food.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I used to volunteer at a soup kitchen when I was living in Minneapolis, and hardest part was not eating all of it.
True, and also we get a bunch of groceries donated to us. I'm like, I got a big thing of strawberries this week. That would have been like $10 off the shelves, and I was like, sure, that's great.
You were like, all y'all, I'm going to keep the strawberries, but we'll give you some other stuff.
We had I had took one container, but we had so many.
Listen, breaking news.
And there's also a shelf life. There's also a shelf life on strawberries. Okay. And I also told we had Truly, because we work with this one, we get donations from this one place called Hollywood Food Coalition. Mm-hmm. And they donated probably 2,000 strawberries to us, and we just couldn't use them all.
I'm sorry.
Like so many.
Strawberries?
Like, I mean, truly, so many strawberries. So I was like, anybody who wants a pack, take one.
That is insane.
And sometimes we'll do if we have stuff that's like really like, okay, we have a lot of this, so we're not gonna be able to get through it. I'll bring it to the community fridges. Yeah.
This is so wonderful. I love that you do this. You're like, I'm great.
Diva, no, it's I think it's deeply good for me. It's like I do it for selfish reasons, where it's like a time to see all my friends. I get to eat there every week. It's also just I find it like, you know how I was talking about like having a monkey brain?
Yes.
Seeing people who like see me, I think is really good for my sense of like self and permanence, and like, because I have a dissociation disorder, so I can feel very out of body.
Okay.
For a lot of my life, and so doing things where like, first of all, people expect me to be there. If I don't show up, people will notice, and then also like, I used to work at Trader Joe's for a long time, and it feels so.
Love Trader Joe's.
I worked there for like 6 years.
Can't get enough Trader Joe's.
I know, me neither. But it's nice to be like, to have a job where people are like, "Oh, do you have this?" I'll be like, "Let me check in the back," and then I go have it, and I can give it to them, and it's like, it's nice to just be able to use your body in that way.
I will say that sometimes I feel like I am missing that element of physicality in my day-to-day.
I really believe in like using your hands a little bit. Like I think
I don't know that I do.
Physical labor is very important for your mind.
My body doesn't love it, but like my mind probably does.
Yeah, but even like, or like, I think that there's a lot of I think that you can get a lot out of menial labor, like washing dishes or sweeping or like yeah.
It's so interesting. I look for ways to purge my system of like stress hormone and cortisol and all these other fun things. And so like, you know, when I go to the gym, like I like to lift weights because to me, like I want to release all that junk. I also have started, and this is going to sound like, oh, like how novel, but I've started taking like, I take a normal shower, and then for the last minute or two, I turn it down as cold as possible.
That's really good for you.
Blast it out. I got to tell you, I'm waiting for like to know the results. I think I'm scared it's placebo for me right now.
No, I think it's real. I have done a lot of research about that. I can't for the life of me pull it off. I hate cold showers, but there's a lot of science that suggests that cold showers and cold plunges raises your like dopamine the same amount as cocaine, but it lasts longer.
I'm actually going to use this as an opportunity to go to our first segment.
Okay.
Are you ready for the Newly Friend game?
I am absolutely ready.
This is called the Newly Friend game. It's like the Newlywed game, but with friends. So I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to write down your answer. Don't say it out loud.
Okay.
I'm going to write down what I think your answer is. Okay. And then we're going to flip them around, see if we're right. And then we'll do the same question for me. I'm going to go in the TV realm for you.
Okay.
Okay. So we already, because I think we already spoke too much about it. I would have done your favorite pilot. Why don't we do, I mean, this is a little broad. Why don't we do your favorite TV show of all time? Now, I know you already said King of the Hill, so I'm not going to write that down, but a different show other than King of the Hill, your favorite series of all time. 1, 2, 3, flip.
Oh, I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
You chose chewing gum. So can I tell you, I obviously saw This May Destroy You, but I never saw chewing gum.
I May Destroy You was good, but it was such a departure. Chewing gum was amazing. It was so funny. It was so fresh to me. It was like,
I think it was like, it got caught up for me in the wave of like Fleabag.
But it came out before Fleabag.
I know, but
so
it got caught up in that
why
wave.
I didn't like Fleabag, because I was like, well, I saw chewing gum first, and this is just doing that.
Yeah. I'll watch chewing gum. I think it was Netflix.
It was Netflix. I don't know if it's on Netflix anymore.
Oh.
But you should check. If not, it'll be on HBO maybe. But this is what we're talking about, physical media.
Yeah.
I also okay, 2 things. I am watching Girls for the first time ever.
Can I tell you I almost wrote Girls?
But the thing is I can't like it. I love it, but I can't like it. It's so...
Because of the stigma of liking it?
No. It's just so visceral. And also all the details are perfect. Like all of Marnie's outfits, like that's exactly how a dickhead would dress in that era.
You know what's so funny? So I was dating... it was the same girl I told you about who I broke up with when my dad died.
Wait, can I use your eraser?
Oh my God, please.
Sorry.
Sad times that you just created there. When I was dating her, she was like, sometimes I feel like you don't try to like things I like. And I was like, you know what? if you feel that way, like that's how you feel. So even if I disagree, it doesn't matter because that's how you feel. So why don't you tell me something that means a lot to you that you like, and let me get in the mix. And she was like, I really like girls. And I was like, great. Give me a couple weeks. So I burned through 2 full seasons of Girls. And she goes, what do you think? And I go, I understand why you like it. It makes me wildly like uncomfortable and
Dude,
sad.
it makes my stomach hurt. But that's the point. I was
I
having
know,
this
but I
discussion.
didn't want to put myself through that.
No, I know. And that's how I feel. But now I've gotten weirdly addicted to it. I don't know. My boyfriend is such a girl's truther and was like, you have to watch it. It's such an important piece of media. And I was like, all right, whatever. And so I watched the first episode and I was like, I'm not watching this. I'm like, ugh. And now I'm like, truly, I watched a season in like 2 days. But we also have this, because it's such a disgusting show, we can't have sex for like 2 days after I watch too many episodes. Because it's such like a sexless, like, even though there's a ton of sex in it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that when people were warning me about White Lotus having a really graphic scene in season 1, where like, have you seen White Lotus season 1? Let me tell you something. My hot take, not good. I don't like White Lotus 1 or 2.
I don't care for stressful shows.
So they're both very stressful.
Yeah.
But suffice it to say, there's a scene that everyone was like, oh my God, it's so graphic, it's so graphic. Now the scene is, a guy eating ass with his younger employee, who is also a gentleman. And people are like, oh my God, wasn't it so graphic? And I was like, that's graphic? Have you seen the ass eating scene in Girls?
But even that wasn't that graphic.
But that was, I gotta say, compared to White Lotus was like a children's show compared to the scene in Girls.
I mean, but I think the sex scene in Girls are intentionally disgusting.
Yeah, like the scene with Sherry Appleby, I was like, dear God.
I fast forward through many of them.
Okay. By the way, let's do my question because
Okay.
I was about to bring up another show, and then I was like, I can't because it's my show.
Okay.
What is my favorite show of all time?
This is so tough.
Because you're just getting to know me. 1, 2, 3, flip. I wrote Scrubs. You wrote Jersey Shore.
Well, mine was sort of a joke. Scrubs.
Favorite
So
show of all
watchable.
time.
My friend's dad was a doctor, and he always said that of all the medical shows in the world, Scrubs was the most accurate.
I love Scrubs so much. I've rewatched it about 8 times.
Really?
Probably more. It might have been 9. It is. I understand some elements of it don't hold up, but again, we talked earlier off mic about the fact
with that.
Comedy is like milk; it's not meant to last forever. But I love it, and it's so my sensibilities. And Bill Lawrence is one of my
he's amazing.
favorite people in this whole wide world. I would die to meet him.
Really?
So here's what's funny.
What's he doing now?
Shrinking, and he just finished
right.
Ted Lasso.
Oh, right.
And he's doing, I think it's called Pool Monkeys with Vince Vaughn. It hasn't come out yet.
Love Vince Vaughn.
Here's what I'll tell you. So Jess and I go to this coffee shop a lot, and
Out here?
In WeHo, and there are celebrities abound. I mean, it's Soho House. We go over there.
Celebrities abound.
It truly.
I did see George Clooney there once.
So here's the thing. So I don't give a shit about just about anybody. We sit there because here's the thing, it doesn't really mean anything to me. I am sitting there, and about 40 feet away, Bill Lawrence walks by, and I grab Jess so hard. Jess goes, what? And I was like, don't look up. It's Bill Lawrence. And she goes, who the fuck is Bill? I was like, shh. Scrubs creator. He was also one of the creators of Spin City. He's also one of the creators of Ted Lasso. Also one of the creators of Shrinking. She goes, let me tell you something. I know how important this guy is to you. I know that. Do you think half the fucking people in this room,
have
if I
any
yelled
idea?
His name out loud, would have any clue who this man is?
That's so funny.
And that's the person who I was like losing my mind over. I was like, this guy, I would die to just be like, dude, everything you've done has meant the world to me.
That's the exact kind of famous I want to be, where nobody recognizes my name or my face unless they're a super big fan of my work.
That's why you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a super big fan of your work. And I was just like,
I mean, that's all I want.
Yeah, I was like, Ellory, oh my God. Is your ultimate goal to be like a touring arenas, theaters?
Maybe not arenas. I'd love to sell a show, be a showrunner, and then
okay,
when I'm on hiatus, do stand up and have like a comfortable, maybe not like arenas, but like the Wilbur in Boston or like.
That's a great performance space.
Exactly. Where it's like comfy. I don't want to do like Madison Square Garden. I also don't think my style lends itself To like,
Yeah.
I think I'm sort of like a more intimate, small room comedian.
I would love to like do places like even like the oh my God, what am I thinking of right now? It's on La Cienega. Oh my God, it's escaping me.
The Troubadour.
Sure, but that's not where I would stand to do comedy.
The Largo.
Largo.
Yes, that's exactly
Places
what I mean.
like Largo.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, that's got a good energy. I saw Birbiglia 2 or 3 years ago.
That was the first stand-up comedy album I ever bought. Was Two Drink Mike.
Really?
Yeah, really. I used to be able to do it word for word.
Oh, the whole thing?
Basically, I would listen to it on my iPod before I fell asleep when I was like in the 5th grade.
Old. No,
old. No, truly old. It was.
I'm
it was
older than you.
When I got it because it was. Do you remember like the 99-cent songs on iTunes?
Yes.
So one of the tracks on it was a 99-cent song, and then I listened to it, and then I was like, okay, I'll just buy the album.
And I mean, that's crazy to me. I did not have that particular album, but what I will say is I remember when I heard Sleepwalk with Me and was just like, what the fuck? What is this?
What's interesting about that is like that was his first sort of like storytelling show.
I always loved storytelling.
Me too, but I love his like joke. Like his first 2 albums are so good and they're so joke heavy.
Yeah.
And I did him at Shtick or Treat this year.
I don't know what that is.
You know what Shtick or Treat is?
Never heard of it.
It's like it started in New York. It's a big comedy show where everybody dresses up as their favorite comedian and does 5 of their minutes or like an impression. And I did Mike Birbiglia, and I was listening to all of his old stuff, and I was like, I've seen him live a bunch of times, and I've seen every special, whatever. And I was like, I kind of miss old Mike. Like I kind of miss old Joe. I love what he's doing, but I'm like, Ira Glass got to you. Ira Glass got to you, and
what
he
a
changed
problem.
you. I'm not a problem.
I'll tell you this. I know the special I would do 5 minutes from because it's my favorite special of all time.
Who's in which one?
It's going to be, you're going to look at me like I'm batshit crazy. But
It's Louis C.K.
No. How dare you?
Well, we were making a joke off
in my
camera.
own house. I rarely get to Jess. I always go, the disrespect in my own home.
And she's like, I live here too.
Yeah, she's like, it's our home. I was like, doesn't matter. I'm the one being disrespected. I want to be clear. I understand that this guy like is, looked at more. He did a sitcom, looked at more for, that, and is looked at as
Ray
a bad
Romano.
actor. No. Kevin James.
Kevin James.
He had a special called Sweat the Small Stuff.
I remember.
To me, it is one of the funniest specials ever written.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, it is so incredible. Like he like one of the jokes he does is he's like, I was in a long distance relationship. I was in New York, she was in LA, and we would do that thing, where you get really sweet on the phone, and she'd be like, "Oh, I miss you," and I'd be like, "Oh, I miss you too," and she's like, "Oh, I wish we could be together," and he's like, "I wish we could be together too," and she's like, "If only I had a magic carpet," and he's like, "I'd be there in like 3 hours." He was like, 3 hours? We're assuming she's a magic carpet. What are you scared you're gonna fall off? You don't want to go too fast?
That's funny, but I do think that's a reasonable speed for a magic carpet to go.
A magic carpet is a magic carpet. You should just.
But it's not teleporting.
Well, I mean, it's close.
I'm
enough.
on her side in this.
I thought it was one of the funniest things. Another one is and again, I don't usually love act outs, but like he's like, yeah, I was, I went to the movies with the same girl, and he was like, what drives me crazy is we go to the movies, and she likes to see it beforehand and then watch it again with me. He's like, so we'll go, and she'll be like, hey, you really watch this part? He's like, oh, really? Let me just, all right, I got it. Just opening his eyes as wide as possible.
That's funny. I also do that too.
You see movies before you see them?
Well, I will Google the endings of movies before I see them so that I can enjoy the movie. And then and then sometimes if I watch a reality TV show, me and my boyfriend are really getting to reality TV shows, I'll watch it first so that if he asks me questions, I don't miss anything.
Oh my God. Awful. But like understandable. But back to the shtick or treat. The only other thing I would say, I don't know that I can do a Kevin James impression. I don't do impressions of comics. The only comic I do is the one everybody does. It's like, I was walking down the street.
Is that Christopher Walken? Who is that?
No, that's 100% Mulaney. It's all Mulaney's always doing stuff like this.
Okay, see, that's a good impression. I think
it's a good bad impression.
It's a good bad impression. I don't know that the quality of the impression matters. I do think you crush better if the impression is good. But like Mike is so easy to get into
He's got such a rhythm.
He's got such a rhythm. It's a very musical.
I'm going to see him again in May.
For what's the new one? The one he's doing with Peacock? Or is it Old Man in the Pool?
No, so I saw Old Man in the Pool.
I saw that at Fringe.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I saw that at the theater at the Ace downtown.
Cool. And they had the big set.
He did. Yeah, they had the big set, and he did it as part of Netflix as a joke like 3 years ago or something.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I missed that one.
And I saw the new one on Broadway. But I saw this is a new one that he's working right now. I had bought tickets. This is me being stupid. He announced his tour. I'm like, I gotta see it. LA, nowhere on that list. San Francisco, nowhere on that list. It was all places except California. And then I spotted Miami. Now, my mother lives an hour north of Miami.
Didn't he just cancel those shows? Reschedule?
Yep.
Do you listen to his podcast?
No.
You would love it. It's one of my favorite podcasts. One of my favorite podcast episodes ever is the episode with him and Ray Romano.
Really?
Yeah. It's so... I mean, I don't even know that the episodes are funny, but they're really interesting and they're good. And it's all about like the comedian's process and like what are the new jokes you're working on. And they talk about how... Did you know that Ray Romano got his sitcom because of his late night set? He had 5 good minutes on late night and then they offered him a sitcom.
I did not know that.
And things just aren't fucking like that anymore. Or Mike, because he was 24, he did like the late night, whatever late night show he did. He had 5 good minutes and then he was a headliner. And it's like things used to be so... I have 3 Emmy nominations and I'm a nanny. Like...
Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, my first thought... So I literally, when I was like telling me, I was like, oh, Ellery's going to be on the pod. They said 3 Emmy Ellery. And I said, yeah.
Wait, who said that?
Nobody.
Damn it.
I'm sorry. Listen.
Can we start that though?
We should.
Someone should.
Yeah, Emmy noms Ellery. That's a great nickname.
It rolls off the tongue.
I know you're kidding, but like I do think it does roll off the tongue. Yeah, I think like right now, like someone will do a 5-minute on a late night set, and then you could be like, "Hey, I'm doing a show at the Hollywood Hotel. Do you want to come do it?"
Yeah, and they would
like,
say
sure.
yes.
Yeah,
they would be back at open mics the next week.
yeah, 100%. They'll be like, "Hey, yeah, I'm gonna go do a drop in the Ice House bringer show."
Not the Ice.
You know?
I used to host
Dave McNary's spot.
Yes,
I was kidding.
I used to host the show for Dave McNary, and at the end, I mean, may he rest in peace.
Yeah, sure.
And at the end of every, first of all, it was booked off the open mic, and it was 10 comedians doing 10 minutes.
Yep.
So it was 100-minute long show.
Yeah, I did that show.
They also, the open mic is 3 or 5 minutes long, so none of these people ever had 10 minutes. I'm sure that you were a breath of fresh air.
I was a miracle worker. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I believe it because they all sucked.
I never did the mic.
He just booked you.
So I went to go hang out. There's a buddy, I love this guy still, named Ray Easter, who used to be out here. Did you ever know Ray?
Mm-mm.
Ray would sometimes step in and host the open mic. So I was just there to hang out with Ray, and then Dave came up, and he's talking to Ray, and he goes, "Who's this?" He goes, "Oh, this is Josh. Like he's great. He's a good comic." And Ray was like, "Yeah, like I've been on the road with him. Like he's great," and which is not true. I'm just okay. and Dave was like, "Cool. You want to do the show?" And I was like, "Sure." And he was like, "Great." And he booked me like fucking like 5 months in advance or something crazy like that.
He did that.
And then he gave me, it was really cute. He like mailed me. He asked my address and like mailed me little flyers I could hand out.
Oh.
And I was like, "Dave, yes, I'm not going to do this."
That is so sweet. He also ended every show with this joke where he dropped every credit card in his wallet and he pretended to have truly 1,000 credit cards. And so
that's actually pretty funny. That's a good bit.
It was like clowning before I knew what clowning was. But he would go pick them up one by one. One by one. And the show ran 3 hours. Like it was not that long, but it felt forever.
And you hosted it?
And I hosted it for quite a few years up until the pandemic.
That's crazy that you did not host the one I was on. I think Bruce might have hosted the one I was on.
Yeah, maybe. It was I remember it being good stage time and I got a bar tab or whatever, and so I would get French fries and some drinks and
love French fries.
Me too.
Favorite French fry?
Favorite French fry?
Yeah, waffle, curly.
Oh, no, those exist in different categories for me where I'm like, I like them all in their own moment. The only fries I won't eat are In-N-Out fries.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, who wants to eat cardboard with
they're
salt on it?
dog shit. I'm like, that is actually so offensive.
It's rude.
I also feel like French fries need to be the right width. Like they
Yeah.
can't be steak fries, and they also can't be shoestring fries. Not for me.
But also, like when someone's eating a steak fry, I'm like, so you're just eating a baked potato.
So hot in the middle.
What's the point?
I've never eaten one and not scalded the roof of my mouth.
Sometimes when I go to bite one, I'm like, do I need a knife and a fork
But
for
you
this
kind
thing?
of do. It's a big wedge.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah. No, I agree with
I
that.
just got so upset. I'm like, I don't
I'm also,
like it.
I really do. I fuck with fries and hummus.
I would eat that.
Fries is a Middle Eastern. Like I've been going to a bunch of Mediterranean places that have French fries.
Have you been to Crimson?
No, where's that?
There are 2 on the west side. It is great. I know you don't want to come to the west side, but you should.
No, I have to sometimes.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a guy named Drew who might want you to. But literally last night we were snacking, and by that I mean eating dinner, and I got like nice, like, salmon over salad with some labna, and it was like really good. And Jess just got a wrap with French fries, and I started dipping the French fries in the labna, and it was
so
like,
good,
perfect,
so good.
Could have asked for a better meal. Are you ready for the final segment?
Yes.
So the final segment is the lightning round. It's 5 fast questions. They do not at all have to be fast answers. I use this because one day I think I could be a late night talk show host. We need another straight white male
totally be
with a J.
I mean, I think they'll be hiring.
Yeah, I'm ready. Question 1. What is a favorite ritual of yours? So mine is like brewing tea in the morning. I love doing that.
Oh, I love that. I think I could stand to be more ritual heavy. Like I think that I suffer from a lack of routine.
We've been talking about that. Yeah.
I think I suffer from a real lack of routine. Like I've been a freelancer for most of my adult life.
Sure.
Which has been wonderful because I'm empowered to do what I want, but also my schedule is like my day is different every day.
Yeah, I could see that.
But I guess a ritual that's important to me is on Tuesdays I do soup kitchen, and I've done that every Tuesday for the last 4 years.
Ritual.
Yeah, it's a good ritual, and I go and I see my friends, and I see people who are excited to see me, and we hang out, we eat good food, and we check in with the community, and we just have fun.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's really healthy for me.
It's funny. I wanted to do Meals on Wheels because they had an opening. They never have openings on the west side. They had an opening, and I was like, I want to be a driver, and I got all excited. And turns out like 30 people had applied for that opening.
That's so funny.
Wasn't me, but that's fine. It's okay.
I do know a bunch of. If you're ever interested, I know a bunch of random orgs that take volunteers and donations.
I really want to, and this is going to be destructive to me. I have no doubt. I kind of want to like volunteer with an animal shelter, but I just know it's not good for me.
Animal shelters in LA are so desperate for volunteers.
I'll bring animals home. Can't do it.
Sure, but to a point where there are some that the city chancellor. What is Kenneth Mejia? The comptroller.
Yeah. Comptroller. Oof,
right?
My bad. Yeah.
Or no?
No. I said controller, but it's comptroller.
I have no idea.
No, you're right.
But anyway, he did some audit on the shelters, and he found out that there were animals inside there that hadn't been walked for 3 months and like never get to leave their cages because they're so understaffed and they're so underfunded. So if you can volunteer with the animal shelter, any animal shelter in LA, they really need the help.
Well, let me know. I'll follow up with you.
Yeah, follow up with me. I can hook you up with somebody. And I also know that they're always taking donations of like toys, food, and clean towels.
And probably money.
Yeah, for sure. Money. Liquid money is the best donation that anybody
I've
can
never
give.
had that. I only have paper, but like I can see what I can do. Boom.
Haha.
Yeah, I know. I'm the worst. Question 2. What is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
This isn't my joke, but I think it's a really good joke.
Hit me.
Where I have 4 really close friends from college. One of them is my friend CJ, and he's known us for like 10 years at this point. And any boyfriend that he gets introduced to, he calls him Skip. So any boyfriend
of yours, or
any boyfriend anybody has in their group,
and
he has seen us through 25 boyfriends at this
Sure.
point, maybe. That person's name is Skip to him.
So he'll say to you like, "How's Skip?"
Sure, or like I introduced him to my boyfriend at my birthday party. And he goes, "How are you, Skip?"
He'll say it to his face.
Say it to his face.
Did you prepare Drew for that reality?
No, it was hilarious.
Was Drew just like it's Drew?
Oh, I mean, he laughed.
Oh, he was in on it. He was like, "I'm good."
And it's funny because it's like I did girls too, and he hasn't cracked it for girls yet. I'm sure that he'll find some name that would be really funny.
I'm trying to think. What is the Skip equivalent?
Maybe like a Jessica.
Well, that's the name of my fiance, so I'm going to say no to that.
Maybe like a Kim.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think a Kim,
Rachel.
Yeah,
interesting.
What? Maybe. Do we have
maybe a Marnie?
I mean, I only think of one person with Marnie. And here's what's
So
weird.
true.
I think about Allison Williams, and then I immediately think about one of my favorite movies of last year, Megan. And then I'm just
So good. I went to a screening of Megan where there were 2 applause breaks.
can I tell you? Everyone was like, oh, that
That
movie
was
looks
my
so
favorite
bad.
movie of last year.
I loved it so much.
So good.
I walked out. I was an evangelist for
No,
Megan.
literally. I'm like, it was. I also am not a critical movie viewer.
Okay.
Where my like rubric on is it a good movie is did I have fun?
Yeah.
The most fun movie I saw all year.
Could not have enjoyed it more.
And I saw Barbarian, and then I saw Megan, and I was like, I'm on a roll. Like this shit is fun.
We went through. I never used to watch horror movies, and like after the pandemic, we like Jess hadn't watched them either. But during the pandemic, she goes, should we start watching some? I was like, why? And she goes, can't be scarier than this.
So true.
And so we started watching a bunch. My favorite horror movie, probably the past 5 years, is Smile.
Oh, I never saw that, but I remember. I remember the marketing campaign.
Smile was so
really
good. Loved
okay.
it.
I'll have
And listen,
to watch.
I liked Barbarian, right? More than Jess did. I really liked Barbarian. Loved Megan to itty bitty pieces. Could not get enough Megan. Liked Pearl a lot too, but Smile for me was just
really
everything.
okay.
Yeah.
I love that. I'll have to watch.
But it is scary. Just a heads up.
No, I like that. I like scary movies.
Okay. Question 3: what is a controversial opinion that you have?
Well, you know that I'm a sleep evangelist.
I love that you're sleeping.
I have 2. I have one, and this is not one I came up with, but one I heard and I believe. 6 hours of sleep is just as bad as not getting any sleep at all.
Wow. Okay.
Men need 8 hours of sleep. Women need 9 to 10 hours of sleep.
But you only get 8.
I know, but it's hard to get 10. It really is hard to carve out that much time.
Are you carving on the front end or the back end? Are you going to sleep much earlier, or are you waking up
I go to
later?
sleep much earlier, but sometimes I go to sleep late. Or I mean, sometimes I wake up late.
Are you
I
going-
actually do kind of get 10 hours of sleep a night mostly.
Are you doing
I
like
do,
11 to 8?
I do 11 to 8. I try to do 10:45 to 7:45, but mostly it's like 10:45 or 11 to like 9.
I mean, and if you're booked on a late show, you're just like you suck it up, but you're not happy about it.
Yes,
Mhm.
exactly. And I don't really do after midnight shows, but there aren't that many after midnight shows in LA.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. There were.
Yeah.
And then my second, and this one is going to be a little personal for you. My
Uh-oh.
second controversial opinion is I think fish are really dirty. I think fish are full of microplastics. I think
Oh, you mean from consuming fish?
I think consuming I wouldn't consume a fish if you paid me.
Wow. But you consume an animal. Or sorry, you don't consume animals.
I don't consume animals.
But if I paid you, would you consume a chicken?
Yeah, not a factory farm chicken, but like if you knew somebody who had a farm and killed chickens, I'd eat that.
If you had to. Or you would anyway.
I think I would be open to it. Definitely. That's
Okay.
like a lifestyle I can get. But where I think the most environmentally friendly way to eat meat is to eat meat,
Yeah, I would agree. I get to know all of the fish before I eat them.
But they're dirty because our oceans are dirty.
Our oceans are disgusting.
And so the fish are disgusting.
Ellory, why?
I mean, that's just you asked for a controversial opinion.
I mean, it is controversial. Question 4. Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there a specific moment that sticks with you?
Oh my God, yes. I suffer very heavily from imposter syndrome. Less so now than when I was a kid,
Yeah.
younger. But when I got staffed for the first time on Robot, I was very...
For those listening, it's Robot Chicken.
Robot Chicken.
Yeah.
I was very, very young. I just out of college, and I had to email my showrunner for the first time and introduce myself. I had met him in our interview,
Sure.
but then, I was like, okay, I got hired. Like, let me drop him a line. And I got so nervous that I passed out. And I hit the floor, and I was in Boston at the time, and I was with my friend David McLaughlin. Shout out David.
Love David.
And Dave, I mean, he's a brilliant comedian. If you guys should all follow him. And he called 911, and because we were in Boston and because of what year it was, they were like, "Are you sure she's not on heroin?" And he was like, "No, I think she's just nervous. I think she just got scared."
And were they like, "We're not sending an ambulance"?
No, they're like, "We're not sending anybody."
And you were just like, "Well,
I was like, I can't afford it anyway."
You're
Good.
like, I could have
like,
died.
I remember coming to him and be like, "Hang up. Like, I'm okay. Don't worry about it. I just got really scared."
I once had more to drink than I should have, and turned to my buddy. I was like, I think we need to call the ambulance. And he was like, I don't think so. I was like, I said, you got to do it. Did it. The guys come. They go, what's going on? I was like, I've had too much to drink. I think it's a problem. And he was like, if you're having this conversation with me, I
You're
don't know
fine.
that it is.
Oh my God.
And it was just like an absolutely it was an embarrassment, and I feel very bad for the guy who was with me, still one of my best friends to this day. But like putting him through that, I was like, oh my God, I was.
I mean,
a
they
fucking
couldn't give you
idiot.
an IV and just get you back to baseline.
Honestly, wouldn't have hated it.
I mean, literally, that's very funny.
Yeah, but like, yeah, been there. Final question for you, and sometimes we amend this, but I feel like you're a tea drinker, so I'm going to give it to you the real way. What is your favorite tea?
I'm a big peppermint head.
Okay, a peppermint head. We went chamomile today.
I know. I did enjoy the chamomile, but peppermint tea is so good for digestion.
I love it. I have it. I drink it many a night.
Yeah, it's like it's the perfect tea. I also like how it's like it's not spicy, but it is spicy. It's like
I love it.
You know, in fact, I would love for somebody to invent a spicy, like an actual spicy tea.
Have you never had like a spicy chai or anything?
No, but that's not spicy enough. I mean, like almost maybe I'm thinking of I'm inventing broth, but
yeah, like one that's like made from like stock.
No, but not stock. I mean, like I want something
bouillon
like
cubes in there.
Steeped. I don't want a chicken flavor. I want like a cayenne flavor. I want like a cayenne and lemon.
Well, I mean, you've had hot water with cayenne and lemon.
Yeah, but it doesn't have enough of a flavor profile.
It's not, yeah.
I'm gonna invent one. I'm gonna pull Chase aside, or maybe like a red pepper flake.
I've never seen that in a tea, but you could be the first.
Like I love spicy food. I love warm spicy food.
I mean, you are starting a beverage company.
I am starting a beverage company, but I think that this might be a niche product that only a few people would be interested in.
But you know what? Everything needs a niche product. You know what I mean?
True. My friend has a theory that because vegan food tastes like shit, vegans are attracted to really powerful flavors or painful flavors, spicy.
Sure.
And so I do like really strong.
Like ghost pepper.
Yeah, I love spicy food. I love tangy food. I love mustards, obviously.
Well, no, obviously. Before you even said that,
I love curries. Love curries. I also love curry has such an interesting, because I think curry is best the next day where it congeals.
Sure.
And then I love when something is spicy and also cold.
I've had that.
That is such an amazing. I'm like, I can't believe I'm alive to like experience that. Like the fact that you can tell when something is cold, but it's also hot.
Anyone who wants to become friends with Ellory who's listening, it's very simple. You gotta bring her something that's cold, but it's hot.
But it's hot.
Yeah.
I mean, that is such a divine experience. Did you ever think in your life you'd be able to witness something like that?
Maybe candid. I didn't give it a whole lot of thought.
Well, that's. I try to lean into details.
And I'm glad that you did.
That's another thing about my monkey brain, where now I have to like lean into details on stuff.
I'd be upset if you didn't. Just
I know,
now.
and exactly.
That was the pod. How do you feel?
Oh my God, so fun.
Good. You're welcome anytime. Please come back.
Oh my God, I'd love to. I have so much more stuff to talk about.
Good, because we're gonna bring you back when you're 4 Emmy, Ellory.
I mean, God willing, brother. I did just write on a new episode of Robot Chicken, so I'm hoping that will be.
When does it air? We'll tell people to go watch
Not
it.
till like August or something.
Okay, y'all are gonna forget.
Yeah, they'll forget.
But go watch it.
I will forget.
Yeah, I will too. Text me. I'll go watch it.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Oh my God, thank you for having me, and thank you for the tea. And
My pleasure.
shout out Chase O'Donnell.
Shout out Chase O'Donnell. That's the way to end an episode. That was Ellory Smith. You can find her on Instagram at Ellory_Smith and on Twitter at Ellory Smith. This episode was produced by Dylan Rosenthal. It was edited by Martin Alvarez. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepcombos. I'm Josh Lanzette, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzette. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping. Well, we have 3 more questions, and we're going to send you to sleep.
Okay.
Not here. That sounded terrible. We're going to let you sleep elsewhere.
They roofied me.
Yeah. It's crazy.